I adore Jon Finch, and I truly love this man. He has been such an influence and a friend for so many years, you know.
He's a dear person, a very dear man, yeah.
He is a huge fan of this industry. I mean, just a huge fan, a wide-eyed guy that is just like, I love this, every single minute of it, I love this, you know, and you can tell that, and that's what makes all of us feel so comfortable around him.
I met Harry Blackstone in Bartlesville, Oklahoma when I was about 6 years old. I was so shy and reserved, and they all thought this would be wonderful training, and Blackstone was looking for a young person like that to perform with him. There were trap doors in the stage floor, and I'd drop through them. Some of my first experiences probably with the theater were certainly with Blackstone, and I learned how to look out at an audience and smile. I can still hear him yelling, "Smile, John!" And for some reason that sticks in my head.
It kind of flew by in like a comment in the night, you know, like I was, right at the beginning I was with Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus, and it kind of just went over everybody's head, you know, like, pardon me, and then, you know, the conversation just stops, right?
There was a small, what's known as a mud show, came to my hometown, and I went to them and asked them if I could travel with them for a month or two. This was in the summer. Sure, come on. I told him I was gathering material for this children's book on the circus, and so I went with him, and I'd been with him, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And the owner of the show said, "Why don't you learn to do something instead of just stand around and watch us all the time?" I said, "What the hell could I do?" He said, "Well, we could teach you to be a clown."
You were with the circus. You went with it. You traveled with the circus. You were, you know.
He was a circus clown. Did you know that about Jon?
Yeah, I was a clown. Oh, then of course the whole table breaks up because they know of what a clown he is, you know.
So I learned to put on my makeup, and I learned to do a few things, and lo and behold, an agent from Ringling Brothers came through one time, and we were playing in some city, and watched the show and saw me, and came back and asked if I wouldn't be interested in going with Ringling Brothers, and that's how I ended up with Ringling Brothers. I was a clown maybe 4 years, then I went into public relations. And I drove all over the United States by myself, speaking to Kiwanis clubs, Rotary clubs, you name it, I've spoken to them.
He had seen me do the role of Jean Valjean back in like 1991. After that point, he contacted me and said, "Would you be interested in coming to, you know, do a concert here at the school?" And I said, "Are you kidding? Absolutely."
I did see Mark McVeigh and Les Mis. He was the most phenomenal man, has a magnificent voice. I thought, I'm going to get him to come here to do a concert. And he and his wife came. We had the University Symphony with them, and they were so kind and so patient with students, and that means a great deal.
That someone is interested in you coming and doing what you like and what your music is, it was a true gift from Jon Finch to call me and say, "Hey, you know, how would you like to come out and do this?" I don't, you know, it was just a true gift, and it kind of started me really on doing that kind of concert by myself.
Jon Finch is a top-drawer gentleman. It will always be a beautiful joy to recall the time we have spent together acting and just being friends. It's a gift that is given not too often in our careers, in our lives, but he has always been very, very unique and special and loving, and I feel that way about him, too. I love him.
She was wonderful in that show. Betsy and I had a ball doing it. Betsy was wilder and probably, to me, fit the part a little bit better because Melissa is kind of ornery.
Season's greetings from Senator and Mrs. Andrew M. Ladd and family.
Season's greetings, indeed. Is that all you can say to me after 40 years? I'm warning you, Andy. Keep that shit up, and I swear I'll come down and boom the whole Senate.
We never looked at one another, Betsy or I or Shirley and I. We never, until the very last line that I give. And the last portion of Love Letters is gut-wrenching.
I know now that I loved her. I loved her even from the day I met her when she walked into second grade looking like the lost Princess of Oz.
Please stop. Please don't.
I don't think I've ever loved anyone the way I loved her, and I know I never will again.
Thank you.
And there was always magic in what he was performing, and to perform with him became very magical, too.
I was in New York and I went to see 42nd Street. And I went backstage and Marty was there. And the first thing he did, he grabbed me and kissed me right on the lips with that damn mustache of his.
I first met him, I believe, when Jack and I did Maggie Flynn. He came to see the show. He frequents Broadway. I mean, he did then quite a bit, and he still does, I think, every now and then. But that's when I first met him, and he said to me, "Will you come to Oklahoma and do some shows for me?" And I said, "Yeah, just ask me." Well, he never stopped asking. I must have done at least 5 shows for Jon.
A few years ago, I brought her and she did a concert in celebration of the state of Oklahoma. She gave this wonderful concert and she said, "Jon, this is for you." And she sang my favorite song.
You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me sing a prayer for someone I really could care for.
You know, he was always giving me advice on how to raise my boys, which I thought was so great because I loved that, you know, and he was so interested in my family life as well as my career, which most people aren't. And, you know, my family life is the most important to me. It really is, as much as I love my career. But he was good in every single way.
Saying hi to Jon.
Hi, Jon. We love you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Can't wait. I'll be in Claremore, Oklahoma, and then I'll be with you.
We will be Shirley Jones's reindeer slaves.
Betty played that little old lady like nobody's business, and Carol was another old lady, but she was totally different The two characters were as opposite as day and night, but they worked together beautifully. And that show was magnificent.
Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You couldn't help but love Betty Garrett. She was so gracious and so charming. She also had a wonderful sense of humor. And of course, one of the most favorite things of mine was when you opened the window seat and there I was. Carol walked off stage and I was standing back there and she said, "You son of a bitch, you scared the hell out of me."
Who can that be?
Do you remember that, Michael?
You scared the hell out of all of us.
Are you trying to tell me you've never seen this man before?
I certainly am. Why, this is a fine how do you do. It's getting so anybody thinks he can walk into this house.
That's one of my favorite pictures. I have it hanging on the wall.
We all remember when you visited our house, Jon, so we would like some of the silverware back, though, please.